support, holds it, gets it right about the right height for me to work. So struggled for a while taking this front motor mount off, but I finally got it off. So I gotta really clean this up, both of them, so it'll go back on a little easier. I'm gonna take the timing cover off, start pulling parts out of the engine. But you gotta take that motor mount off first, and you know, they get a lot of rust back here, and you know, heck, they may not have ever been off before, so it makes it kind of tricky. So I just used a puller, and what I did is I used a dead blow mallet. I'd hit it on this side, and then I'd hit it on this side, then I'd bump the puller, and then I'd tighten it up and just slowly work it off. It took quite a while, but I finally got it off. There's no damage to anything, so you know, patience is key here on these things. So next step on this will be to clean all this off before I take this off. I want to get all this crap off of it, but I don't want it falling in it, so put a bucket underneath it or catch pan and get as much of it cleaned off as I can, you know, reasonably. And then if you look over here, I also pulled out the lifters and the push tubes, the push rods right in. And these I've kind of cleaned up, cleaned the inside really well. I just used just progressively larger drill bits until I got to the right size, and just use that to kind of chase the inside out, just to knock off the rust and stuff. They're pretty filthy. They are tough to get out. Takes a lot of time, but I feel like it needs it because it's the best way to get to polish on the bottom of the lifters. You want those as clean and as smooth as you can get them because they ride on the cam, and you don't want it to chew the loads up on the cam. I've also got this on this side so I can actually get to the flywheel and work on it if I decide to take the flywheel off, or if I decide not to. If I take it off, then I'll probably go get it, you know, the clutch surface, you know, let them, you know, trim it a little bit, smooth it up, make it nice and flat. If not, I'll do the best I can with an angle or a die grinder and the really coarse Scotch-Brite pads and progressively work to a smoother grit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as you all know, these flywheels can be a booger bear to get off and just about as hard to get back on. So if you don't have to take it off, don't. So I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. So I'm going to pull all the parts out of it that I can get out of this engine, and then I'll take it outside, degrease the inside of the crankcase and hit it with a pressure washer and get it nice and clean as I can get it. And part of the process of taking those lifters out was so I could get in there and clean that out as well. So I also, this is a pile of parts that I actually still have to clean. I like to try to clean as I go, break an engine down into groups and then clean them, get them ready, check them, make sure everything's fine on those, and then get all those cleaned and squared away and then put away, and then tear out another group of the engine, same thing. And same thing, that's how I kind of keep track of that stuff in my mind. Come over here, I got a new, not a new, but I do have a good clutch and pressure plate to replace the old ones. If you want to see, this is the clutch disc that came out of it. So that's no good. I guess, no, you can't even reuse it. See, it's been rotted away by rust and mice. And here's the pressure plate. As you can see, the springs are popped out of the caps. It's done. You can't, it won't, it's stuck. I guess they could rebuild it, but most people want a better core than that when it comes to rebuilding. So I picked up another match set. Here's a good clutch disc. Got a lot of material on it, and a matching pressure plate. They came off of one tractor, so they're a match set. So it's easier, I find, if you get a match set, then you don't have to adjust the fingers on the pressure plate. Here's that cranky front motor mount. You can see this is the side that went towards the block. And this is the outside. This is the inside. You can see it's got a good ½ inch worth of, you know, grease and grime and oil and grit. Been around a while, hadn't been off in a long, long time. That's what we're dealing with the oil pan. It's pretty filthy, but it's not rusted through, which is good. So it's just a matter of cleaning that up. As I've been going, like I said, I just finished cleaning out a lot of the grit and the dirt from the inside of the radiator down here where the fan shroud is. Sucked up quite a bit of rust out of inside here. I just clean as I go, and if you pay attention, and you, especially with these that are starting with, if you can clean it all while it's together, it'll move the engine, tear things apart, get it where you can get to it, and a place to clean it and get it off before it gets in. That's less grit you have to worry about being inside the engine. So we keep the nasty stuff on the outside. It makes it a little easier and a little better when you go to putting it all back together. So that's what I got in store for me today. So, cleaning and taking this off. When I get this timing cover or front cover assembly off, governor, magneto, I'll turn the camera back on and show you what we're looking at in here. So you should have a gear on the end of the crankshaft, a gear on the end of the camshaft, and right here's the gear that runs off your governor. So the only ones you really have to worry about timing are the cam gear and the crank gear. The governor gear, it doesn't matter. You can rotate your governor however you want it. Get your magneto lined up without worrying about what that gear does. As long as it's connected, you don't have to worry. So engine turns over good now. Let me grab a punch and I'll show you. I can turn it over. If you remember, it was a few days ago, it was stuck, so as you can see today, it's put the punch in it. Another trick on these is when there's normally pins that go here for your starting crank. And when it's horizontal, you're at top dead center on the number 1 cylinder, or if it's horizontal, you can be either top dead center or 180 out. So it's a pretty quick way to eyeball and see if you're close, because if you're down here like this, you know you're not at top dead center. So, but it turns over nice and easy. So it's freed up. So now it's just a matter of cleaning it up, rebuilding it, and putting it back together. So thanks for watching.